right now. Want to welcome to the program State Representative Tony Cornish from the great state of Minnesota. Representative, good talking with you again. Thanks for your time, sir.
Hey, good afternoon.
Well, I do appreciate it. And you are, I think, among many, but perhaps one of the more prominent voices urging the Mall of America to drop its gun-free zone policy in the wake of the video released by al-Shabaab over the weekend, calling for specifically an attack on the Minnesota Mall.
Yeah, you know, some brainiac figured out that the best way to defend yourself against a terrorist attack is to disarm everybody. I don't know where in the world that came from, but being the author of the permit to carry here in Minnesota, I took personal offense at that idea, making another killing zone of sheep here ready for the slaughter.
Do you believe that that the Mall of America, the Washington Times says that you say the Mall of America has interpreted the concealed carry laws incorrectly? Do you believe that the Mall of America does not have the authority then to ban carry at the mall?
No, the way our Minnesota law was written is specifically with the landlord exclusion. I mean, the landlord cannot post that an apartment building or a mall. And these people know that, or they should have, because they came in, a representative from that business group came in to testify years ago when we did this law, and we discussed this. And we wanted to give the option of the shopper to be in the common portions, and the separate business entities inside the mall at each door can post their businesses, but the mall can't, and that's the way we intended it. So I don't know why they were violating, other than just ignorance of falling into the trap of thinking that less guns is somehow going to equate to less crime, which it doesn't.
Well, you know, they tweeted on the Mall of America Twitter account, the mall bans all guns from the premises. You'll note this clearly at each entrance door. Does that make you feel better or worse, Representative?
Well, the thing that they should have done is printed it in the language of the countries that are furnishing the terrorists, so to make sure that if they're bilingual, they can leave their assault weapons at the door. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing. It's a petty misdemeanor to violate the sign, and you think somebody's one that risking their own lives, which they obviously don't worry about, is going to stop because of a sign, and why do you want to stop law-abiding people from defending themselves? So I can't figure out the logic in this maneuver.
You know, I'll be honest with you, Representative. I can't either. We've been discussing the comments made by the now former Secretary General of Interpol, who is the current Secretary General of Interpol at the time of the Westgate Mall attack in Nairobi, Kenya, Ron Noble. And he said at the time that he thought, you know, we needed to start talking about this. There are two ways to approach this. Either you try to harden every soft target out there, which I don't think Mall of America is necessarily doing, or even could do. Certainly not every mall in America could do this. Or you start to you allow that armed citizenry. You allow people to be able to protect and defend themselves.
Well, you know, I was a game warden in up northern Minnesota for over 20 years, remote country, and if a bear or a wolf wanted to get into the pen of sheep, they would look for a break in the fence, knowing that they were unarmed. And same with the terrorists. Where would you rather go if you were going to take the chance of risking your life and you wanted to inflict heavy casualties? You would naturally go to the unarmed portion of any business. And so it just makes literally no sense. We've got almost 200,000 permit holders in Minnesota. We haven't had any bad things happen. So why do you want to take action against the law-abiders instead of the terrorists?
So, Representative, have you heard from any representative of the Mall of America? Do you think that those signs would come down?
Well, the pressure is sure mounting. I'm going to be on Fox and Friends in the morning talking about this, and they already carried in Fox, CNN, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, all the local media around here. And so you've got to be thinking that if there's smart guys out there, that they would be rethinking their strategy.
One would think.
I haven't got any bad reports. In fact, the media, social media, has been lighting up 1,000 to 1 in favor of my statements. So.
Really? Well, I mean, look, here, I think it's because, honestly, Representative, you have to be willfully ignorant to think that no guns allowed sign is going to stop a terrorist. You know, I mean, you really do. And so at this point, what is the message that the Mall of America is putting out other than trust us to keep you safe? And if so, I got to ask, I mean, as a customer of that mall, do I have a right to know everything, all of the security measures that you are putting in place? I mean, at some point you have to be able to trust me as a concealed carry holder.
And with a huge area like that, you just cannot. The cops are wonderful. That's where I come from. I was a 32-year retired cop, but they can't be everywhere, and neither can security people or mall cops. I mean, it's just not enough of them, and people have to, be allowed some reasonable expectation of self-defense.
Talking with State Representative Tony Cornish from Minnesota. What about your fellow colleagues in the legislature, Representative? Have you heard from others, and might there be a concerted political push, or at least a political statement by other representatives?
Well, I tell you what, there's been so many positive comments that I haven't had any buddy from the past, a non-gun liberal, make any derogatory statements about what I've said so far. It's very quiet and a lot of support. So I got a feeling they realize this is a gun state. Our permit to carry law is very popular, and I think they're just holding their tongues, which is a wise decision.
All right, Representative, listen, thank you so much for speaking out and for joining us today, and hope that we can talk again soon.
You bet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. State Representative Tony Cornish from Minnesota joined us talking about the threat to the Mall of America